Welcome to Yerba Mate Talks.
Hey y'all, so we're doing a quick birthday reading today. I said we would review this, so we're going to continue doing a little bit more progress on this book, The Satanic Verses. So we're talking about Salahuddin right now and his kind of background. So here we go. So it's talking about Saladin's relationship. They never managed to have children. She blamed herself after 10 years. Saladin discovered that there was something the matter with some of his own chromosomes. 2 sticks too long or too short. He couldn't remember his genetic inheritance. Apparently, he was lucky to exist. Lucky not to be some sort of deformed freak. Was it his mother or his father from whom the doctors couldn't say? He blamed it's easy to guess which one. After all, it wouldn't do to think badly of the dead. They hadn't been getting along lately. He told himself that afterwards, but not during. Afterwards, he told himself, we were on the rocks. Maybe it was the missing babies. Maybe we just grew away from each other. Maybe this, maybe that. During, he looked away from all the strain, all the scratchiness, all the fights that never got going. He closed his eyes and waited until her smile came back. He allowed himself to believe in that smile, that brilliant counterfeit of joy. He tried to invent a happy future for them, to make it come true by making it up and then believing in it. On his way to India, he was thinking how lucky he was to have her. I'm lucky, yes, I am. Don't argue. I, I am the luckiest bastard in the world. And how wonderful it was to have before him the stretching, shady avenue of years. The prospect of growing old in the presence of her gentleness. He had worked so hard and come so close to convincing himself of the truth of these paltry fictions that when he went to bed with Zini Vakil within 48 hours of arriving in Bombay, the first thing he did, even before they made love, was to faint, to pass out cold, because the messages reaching his brain were in such serious disagreement with one another, as if his right eye saw the world moving to the left, while his left eye saw it sliding to the right. Zini was the first Indian woman he had ever made love to. She barged into his dressing room after the first night of the Millionaires, with her operatic arms and her gravel voice, as if it hadn't been years. Years. Yar, what a disappointment, I swear. I sat through the whole thing just to hear you singing Goodness Gracious Me, like Peter Stellers, or what? I thought, let's find out if the guy learned to hit a note. You remember when you did Elvis impersonations with your squash racket, darling? Too hilarious, completely cracked. But what is this? Song is not in drama. The hell? Listen, can you escape from all these pale faces and come out with us wogs? Maybe you forgot what that is like. Let's see if anybody has anything to say. Hey friends, we're gonna do like 15 minutes today, but we're trying to get a little bit through this book. We've got NetTuber, and we've got Davids and Foxworth. Excellent. So let's continue. If you have any questions about any of these things, we can talk about that too. Where are we? He remembered her as a stick figure of a teenager in a lopsided, quaint hairstyle and an equal but oppositely lopsided smile. A rash bad girl. Once, for the hell of it, she walked into a notorious Ada, a dive, on Falkland Road, and sat there smoking a cigarette and drinking coke until the pimps who ran the joint threatened to cut her face. No freelances permitted. She stared them down, finished her cigarette, left, fearless. Maybe crazy. Now, in her middle 30s, she was a qualified doctor with a consultancy at Breach Candy Hospital, who worked with the city's homeless, who had gone to Bhopal. The moment the news of the invisible American cloud that ate people's eyes and lungs, she was an art critic whose book on the confining myth of authenticity, that folklorist straitjacket, which she sought to replace by an ethic of historically validated eclecticism, for was not the entire national culture based on the principle of borrowing borrowing whatever clothes seemed to fit. Aryan, Mughal, British, take the best and leave the rest, had created a predictable stink, especially because of its title. She had called it the only good Indian, meaning is a dead. Meaning is a dead, she told Chamcha when she gave him a copy. Why should there be good, right way of being a wog? That's Hindu fundamentalism. Actually, we're all bad Indians, some worse than others. Hey, everybody who's come. We got Lindsay, NetTube user. Great. This is rough. We're going to get through this, though. She had come into the fullness of her beauty, long hair, left loose, and she was no stick figure these days. 5 hours after she entered his dressing room, they were in bed, and he passed out. When he awoke, she explained, I slipped you a Mickey Finn. He never worked out whether or not she had been telling the truth. Zinat Vakil made Saladin her project. The reclamation of, she explained. Mister, we're going to get you back. At times he thought she intended to achieve this by eating him alive. She made love like a cannibal, and he was her long pork. Wow. Did you know, he asked her, of the well-established connection between vegetarianism and the man-eating impulse? Zini, lunching on his naked thigh, shook her head. In certain extreme cases, he went on, too much vegetable consumption can release into the system biochemicals that induce cannibal fantasies. She looked up and smiled her slanting smile. Zini, the beautiful vampire, come off it, she said. We are a nation of vegetarians, and ours is a peaceful, mystical culture. Everybody knows. He, for his part, was required to handle with care. The first time he touched her breasts, she spouted hot, astounding tears, the color and consistency of buffalo milk. She had watched her mother die like a bird being carved for dinner. First the left breast, then the right, and still the cancer had spread. Her fear of repeating her mother's death placed her chest off limits. Fearless Zini's secret terror. She had never had a child, but her eyes wept milk. After their first lovemaking, she started right in on him. The tears forgotten now. You know what you are. I'll tell you. A deserter is what? More English than your Angriz accent, wrapped around you like a flag. And don't think it's so perfect. It slips, Baba, like a false mustache. So, kind of going in a little bit about what's happening here. So Saladin is having this relationship with Zinat Vini. That's like an extracurricular relationship from his other relationship that he's in. And he's a person who really wants to be British more than anything else. Um, and so there's this kind of conflict where she's kind of challenging him and saying, "Are you even really Indian?" And there's a little bit of a subtext about her own story that she watched her own mother pass away from cancer, and so certain intimate relations are difficult because she has fear of cancer herself. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. But that's kind of a rough reflection of what's going on. Yeah, and so she's insulting him right now. There's something strange going on, he wanted to say. My voice, but he didn't know how to put it and held his tongue. People like you, she snorted, kissing his shoulder. You come back after so long and think God knows what of yourselves. Well, baby, we got a lower opinion of you. Her smile was brighter than Pamela's. I see, he said to her. Zini, you didn't lose your Bianca smile. Bianca? Where had that come from? The long forgotten toothpaste advertisement? And the vowel sounds distinctly unreliable. Watch out, Chamcha. Look out for your shadow. That black flow is creeping up behind. On the second night, she arrived at the theater with two friends in tow. A young Marxist filmmaker called George Miranda, a shambling whale of a man with rolled up kurta sleeves, a flapping waistcoat bearing ancient stains, and a surprisingly military mustache with wax points, and Bhupen Gandhi, poet and journalist, who had gone prematurely gray, but whose face was baby innocent until he unleashed his sly, giggling laugh. Come on, Solid Baba, Zini announced. We're going to show you the town. She turned to her companions. These Asians from foreign got no shame, she declared. Saladin, like a bloody lettuce, I ask you. There was a TV reporter here some days back, George Miranda said. Pink hair. She said her name was Curlita. Curlita. I couldn't work it out. Listen, George, is too unworldly, Zini interrupted. He doesn't know what freaks you guys turn into. That Miss Singh outrageous, I told her. The name's Khalid, dearie, rhymes with Dalda. That's a cooking medium. But she couldn't say her own name. Take me to your cure leader. You types got no culture, just wogs now. Ain't ain't it the truth? She added, suddenly gay and round-eyed, afraid she'd gone too far. Stop bullying him, Zena, Bhupen Gandhi said in his quiet voice. Stop bullying him, Zena, Bhupen Gandhi said in his quiet voice. And George awkwardly mumbled, no offense, man, joke, shoke. Chamsha decided to grin and then fight back Zini. He said, the earth is full of Indians. You know that. We get everywhere. We become tinkers in Australia, and our heads up in Idi Amin's fridge. Columbus was right. Maybe the world's made up of Indies. East, west, north. Damn it. You should know, you should be proud of us, our enterprise, the way we push against frontiers. Only thing is, we're not Indian like you. You better get used to us. What was the name of the book you wrote? Listen, Zini, put her arm through his. Listen to my salad. Suddenly he wants to be Indian after spending his life trying to turn white. All is not lost, you see. Something in there is still alive. We're going to stop there. Yeah, Curleader, Kerbal. Okay. Yeah, so basically we're kind of looking into the relationship more of these two and kind of the tension of what does it mean to be Indian? What is it, is an Indian kind of a lesser being? Is whiteness good? So there's like this tension of culture and race and ethnicity. So that's important to consider. But that is where we are stopping. And thank you very much. I'm going to put out, if any of you have any questions or any kind of reviews, let me know. But if not, we are going to end our stream.